Sean, you're about to fly solo for a moment there. I was about to say I'm going to start. I've been working on my video editing skills, and shortly we hope to have something a little more entertaining than the upward going snow. And I actually remember to press live 2 days in a row, so I feel like things are going almost right today.
Yeah, now I'm always checking the left-hand corner too to make sure it says live, since I didn't catch that neither the other day.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. So you got a haircut, huh?
Yeah. This is my two extremes. I go real short and then it goes real long.
I didn't think it was real long before.
Well, real curly. It just gets out of control.
Yes, you get out of control. Just need a red nose when it gets real curly. You'd be right on it. Scare all the little kids, but hey, you probably do that without a nose.
Yeah.
So why are you getting a haircut? Because you're not going to be here tomorrow or Saturday? What are you doing, Sean? You're going to be doing a little misbehaving tonight? Is that what's in the itinerary?
Tomorrow we're going to Atlantic City, just me and two other guys for one of the guys' bachelor parties. So just casino and who knows what else.
Yes, the emphasis on the who knows what else.
I don't even know what else, so we'll find out. I'll find out with the rest of everybody. Yeah.
It's going to be, I don't know if this is politically correct nowadays, but you're going to end up with a foreigner in your trunk.
No.
Like the movie Hangover?
No.
No. So you're not going to end up like that, huh?
No, I don't drink like that.
No, just more.
No,
that's not enough for Sean. Like, no, those guys are amateurs, man. You want to see a pro at work? Go to Atlantic City tomorrow, and you'll see a pro.
No, I'm not a big drinker, especially if I'm gambling too. I don't drink while I gamble.
Yeah, I don't drink any longer. The proverbial one was too many, 100's not enough. And, I was they have these tropical storms. They had the name of tropical storm for me every time I went out drinking because I was just what was it, Tasmanian devil. So thankfully I don't behave like that anymore. I don't need to drink to act like that. It's just my normal state of being now. Yeah,
I would just drink to be social, and I'm social enough now. And I hate the taste of alcohol. I don't know how people like it.
I didn't mind the tequila. I just tasted worse when it's coming back up the other way.
And that's the thing.
Next morning,
you pay for it the next day, so you have fun. One night, but the next night you were just recovering for. It's crazy.
God, I promise I'll never do this again. Yes, I've been there. Thankfully, not for a long time. Yeah, last night though, man, I tell you, I almost felt like I was having a hangover. I was when in the Salt Lake game when the team scored with 12 minutes left to go to potentially ruin. I was already climbing up the attic. I was opening up like the vents. I was on the top of the house. The neighbors had called the police. We got a jumper. And fortunately, there was a late goal by Salt Lake that got that back in the winning column. So it was a profitable night for both of us. You went 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
I went 4-1.5 because I only had 10 on Detroit. So I'll take that half of a bet there. So it was a very positive night. A plus 190 came home with the Seattle Sounders and an easy win. I haven't had one of those in a while, so I felt good about that.
Yeah, the only thing that made me mad about Seattle is I really wanted to – I don't bet your soccer usually, but you're pretty on about the soccer. And the way you were talking about Seattle, that plus 190 looked juicy, and then I got caught up in baseball and everything else, so I didn't play it. Yeah,
I was thinking about just making it a soccer show. What do you think about that?
I'm going to need to do a lot of studying then.
Because, that works out pretty well for me, the soccer stuff. That's the second time we've caught a plus one. And that's the one great thing about soccer. I know a lot of people don't like soccer. Growing up, soccer was, not the favorite sport of the kids in high school. And some of the soccer players may have gotten picked on by some of the football players. Now the soccer players can run away from the football players. But you get such great lines that you just don't get in any other sport. I mean, if you pick the team who wins, probably 80% of the time you're getting a plus line. Try that tonight in the NFL and see if you can get a plus line if Cincinnati wins. You're not going to get it. And if you think about it, 7 points with Cincinnati's between 7 and 7.5 is just one score, right? Mm-hmm. In soccer, one goal is just one score. And so for one score, you get a plus line in one, and the other you have to pay minus like 300. So that's one of the great things that I love about soccer.
I do feel like when the real Salt Lake scored, and you got that win, I feel like that guy took it, or whoever's up there, dangling your.
That mangling, he's like,
yeah, I think that might have been the end of it. They let you go.
Thankfully, yes, I was in some kind of.
I mean, you did try to
terrible-
put a jinx on me afterwards by saying
I didn't try to put a jinx on you. I was like, hey, if it was 3 runs, then you would have problems. It's 4 runs, and you did have problems in the end.
Yeah, Scherzer would never blow a 5-0 lead.
That didn't last long.
Yeah. Thankfully, somehow they 11-9. Who the heck would have saw that? But hey,
no, certainly not me. I didn't play the over there. But today we have an interesting challenge, Sean. Tell us about a challenge that we'll try to meet at the end of the show based upon our picks today.
So on the website, somebody asked about putting an 18 parlay together.
Not 18, but 8. Like 8.
Yeah, 18. Man, we don't even have 18 games to pick from tonight, I don't think. So we'll do an 18 parlay together here. We'll talk about it.
We can knock one out. That reminds me of a joke my kids used to tell me. Why was 6 afraid of 7?
Why?
Because 7, 8, 9. That's when you can tell your kid and get away with it. All right, stupid joke. All right, anyway. All right, Sean, let's start. As we mentioned, in the NFL, you have the Cincinnati Bengals. The line is moving around a little bit. They were 7 last night, and right now I think there's up to 7.5 at some books. I'll tell you in a moment. Yes, they are 7 and actually a 9 over here at this crazy one over here. If you want Cincinnati, if you want Jacksonville plus 9, you can get it, Sean. Do you want Jacksonville in any way, shape, or form?
No, and I'll make it official. I'll take Cincinnati giving up the points.
This one's a really tough one for me too, Sean, because in the original power rankings, this is an even game at 7 points, right? It's an actual push. Based upon the first 3 games of the season, however, no, I can't. Actually favors Cincinnati. So I'm going to be with you too. I'm just not wholeheartedly with you on this one, Sean. I'm going to take Cincinnati. I would be much, much happier if it were -7 than -7.5. That hook. I got a funny feeling that we're going to be, feeling like pirates with that hook at the end of the day.
I don't know. I mean, Cincinnati's defense has been really good this year. Jacksonville's offense has been all over the place. Lawrence is turning the ball over. It's a young team on a Thursday. I would expect Cincinnati to handle that better. Cincinnati's at home. I mean, I could say all the right things here, but on Thursday night, you never know. But I really feel like you're going to go one way or the other. You got to go with Cincinnati here. And I think you just add the Cincinnati money line to the 18 parlay, not?
I agree with you on that. The Cincinnati money line is a part of the 18 parlay. So that's check mark number 1 for sure. As far as the money
one of the night too.
Man, don't say that. Now you just screwed the guy over.
No. I'm saying that's the easiest one to add to it. I'm not saying it's the easiest one to win.
Yeah, you just screwed it over, Sean. Thank you. You jinxed it. Don't blame me, folks, when it doesn't go right. Look right over there to the guy with the haircut that's going to go out and misbehave tonight. Most of the money belongs on and is on the Bengals, because you can imagine 3/4 of the tickets are on the Bengals and over 80 cents on the dollar is following Cincinnati. So I agree with you. Cincinnati probably wins. The 7.5 is a little bit nerve-wracking for me. I'm only going to put 15 on it, so that's 3/4 of a unit for me. And then Sean's going all in because that's the only way he knows.
Usually. I mean, I did the $20 parlay yesterday. I should have just done 30. I don't know why I even changed that. What's the odds for the -7.5?
The -7.5, we're both getting -108. I mean, if you think about it, you can go -9 for 105, but it ain't worth 3 cents. No chance. Maybe we could play it both ways. We take Cincinnati -7.5 and Jacksonville +9 and hope they win by 8.
It never works out like that for us, but there's people out there that works for.
Yeah, well, that's how you shop lines, right? So let's see. The total today is, I think, 46, Sean. Yeah, that's what it is, 46. I have the game coming in at exactly 46. So I can't make a play. I mean, I love it when it's dead on, because that tells me that my models are pretty accurate, but I hate it when it's dead on because that tells me I have nothing to play.
This is when I get into these different bets again. I don't feel confident about it over or under, but if I felt strongly on one side, I would go either Cincinnati's over or Jacksonville's under. I do not trust Jacksonville scoring a lot of points in tonight's game, so I would almost lean the under. And like I said, I would either take Cincinnati over in the points or Jacksonville under in the points, depending on what you felt more strongly about. But I don't feel strongly either way.
Yeah, most of the money I think is favoring the under here. So I like I said, I have it exactly at 46. So there's no chance in the world that I'm going to add it to our 18 parlay or even consider putting something like that into my account tonight. But I will be on Cincinnati. I am actually going to do something we talked about in my own account as well with the money line on Cincinnati. The next game tonight, Sean, is in the NCAA realm. We have the Virginia Cavaliers, right, versus the Miami Hurricanes, right? I don't know. Yep. There's no criminal versus convict or Catholic versus convict angle here. Whatever that was back in the old days of Notre Dame versus Miami. But what you do have is one team that is offensively challenged in Miami versus a team that is defensively challenged in Virginia. So how do you play that?
Yeah, Virginia's defense is absolutely horrible, but they have a good quarterback to keep going up and down the field. So the only thing I almost feel comfortable here is the over or Miami winning. But I wouldn't give up the 4.5 points.
Yeah, I don't. You know that this game, the last couple of years, a lot of the players are the same as last year, Sean, and the game was like 19-14 or something. So I agree, that maybe on the surface, the total looks like the number that you want to play. But I have a feeling that Miami's offense is going to struggle as it is. They can't score. They're not even sure who's going to play quarterback yet.
Yeah, it looks like King's out.
Yeah, so in that situation, I can see the Virginia defense actually – I wouldn't say so much that the Virginia defense is going to be good as so much as I say is the Miami offense might not resemble the Pop Warner offense tonight. They've struggled to score anyway this year.
Yeah, I thought they didn't look too bad last week, though, and that was without King. So
okay, who do they play?
I don't remember, but I do know they were putting
some FCS team that's ranked like 1,000.
Yeah,
so yeah. If they didn't score against them, Sean, then
no, they did. Yeah, but I've seen a lot of Virginia's defense this year, and it's like they have no interest in stopping the opponent. It's like just put the offense right back out there.
Of course, but let me ask you a question. Honestly, between Wake Forest, and I know this A versus B versus C equals D doesn't work, but between Wake Forest and Miami, I would say that their defenses are probably comparable. Yeah, I'd probably give the edge to Miami a little bit over Wake Forest. Wouldn't you?
Maybe not this year.
On defense, I would.
Yeah, I don't know.
And let's just say they're comparable, which I think is a very fair assessment. The Wake Forest defense was able to stymie that Virginia offense. So I feel like the offensively challenged Miami Hurricanes defense will slow down Virginia enough that I don't know who's going to win, but I think that they won't go over 62.5, Sean. I think they'll actually go under 62.5. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like out there in where they're playing in Miami, right? It's supposed to probably be nice. I'd imagine it's going to be beautiful. I can get 63, so I'm going to take 63, Sean. I'm going to go under 63 at minus 108. It's not one that I'm wholeheartedly confident on. I'm going to only put 10 on it. And it's not one that I would necessarily put in our parlay, but it's one to consider because the simulator says that they're going to go under by 11 points, which is a big enough margin for me to go ahead and make that move.
Again, you've kind of, I don't have a pick, and I wasn't strongly either way. My thing is I did see Virginia's defense, and it's horrible. But
it's terrible, but that offense for Miami is, I don't know. I mean, they could score. I think they will score points. I think the game will probably – I think mid-fourth quarter, late fourth quarter, they'll both be somewhere in the low to mid-20s, and there'll be a final score on one of the last drives that pushes the game into like the 55 to 57 range, somewhere in there. And whichever team has the ball at the end and gets like a field goal or a touchdown ends up winning the game 28-25, 28-24, something stupid like that.
So you convinced me in the soccer. Sometimes you'll convince me in baseball. Usually not college football, but you've kind of convinced me on this under. So we can put this one to the side and maybe throw it in later.
All right, maybe. To me, it's so I only put 10 on it, so I'm only 50% confident on this one, Sean. All right, off to the Major League Baseball. Thankfully, I can't wait for the MLB to head into the playoffs because then I'll feel a little bit better about what I'm seeing on the field, Sean, than what I'm seeing now. Games that I don't understand. But, it's the way baseball goes. Chicago Cubs versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. Again, the Cubs, you just cannot trust them at all. You have two teams that, quite frankly, I don't want to bet either side because neither one's been very good. The Pirates have been a little better than the Cubs of late, but you're getting a negative line, money line, no matter what side you want to take on two bad teams. To me, that's just not a good recipe.
Yeah, probably not. And somehow the Cubs held the Pirates to 2 runs yesterday, even with the bullpen. So,
I mean, that's the whole sunshine, squirrel finding nuts, clock broken, correct twice a day, all those sort of analogies.
Yeah, so I did all kind of alternate lines last night, and I had over 5.5 in that game, and it ended in 5. So that screwed the whole parlay. I had everything else right.
Why would you do anything with the Cubs and the Pirates?
I thought there would be runs because the Cubs bullpen alone would give up 5 runs, and it didn't happen last night.
Ordinarily, 5 is a low number for them.
Yeah. So I am skipping this one as well. I don't like it.
Yeah, I just don't see any reason to bet it unless it's just an admission that I need to go, hello, my name is Rich, and I have a problem. And if you do, seriously, all jokes aside, gambling is only for the money that you can afford to lose. If you can't afford to lose money, please don't gamble. Seek help. I know too many people that have had different sorts of addictions that have ruined families. Please don't let it be you. As far as the money is concerned, Sean, 70% of the money is actually back in the Cubs and about the same number of tickets. So it looks like the backers like this kid, the Steele, the lefty. And, to be honest with you, Pittsburgh is putrid against lefties so far on the year.
Yeah.
Boston and the Orioles in a game that last night was much closer for too long than I know you liked. But I feel like tonight will be a little bit different. 88% of the money, Sean, is on Boston. This is one of the biggest run differential lines of the night. I think Boston is team number 2 in our 8-team parlay challenge.
Yeah, no disagreement there. Again, they have to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing Baltimore. And the pitching matchup is decidedly in Boston's advantage.
Yeah, the whole you got to win this game doesn't really mean anything because how many times do we see them lose? But I think they should win this kind of exactly like they did yesterday.
Well, hopefully a little bit easier than yesterday.
Quicker,
that one-run lead all the way to like the 6th inning. Just like, come on. Let's go. Yeah. All right, the Yankees versus Toronto. This is a game that both teams need to win again. Kluber's on the mound against Robbie Ray. The money is chasing the Blue Jays after the Blue Jays came through. The Blue Jays got to a big lead, blew it. Yankees came back, and then the Yankees gave it up late, which just drives me bananas. When a team comes back, they give you hope just to lift that chin a little higher, a little higher, a little higher. Then there you go, buddy. Knockout shot. Yeah,
that was my one loss yesterday. Unbelievable. I really like the Blue Jays in this game with Robbie Ray over Corey Kluber. I'm making it official. I'll put 30 on the Blue Jays here.
You're putting 30 on the Blue Jays, so you can get minus 145 for that game, Sean.
And I think this is one. If the Yankees lose this, they've been streaky. They went on that big win streak. Then they had a losing streak. Then they just had a 7-game win streak. Now they lost. Hopefully they don't end the year like that, or they're going to be out. And if they lose this game, they might be in real big trouble.
Yeah, I think they would be in big trouble. I'm not a fan of putting that one in the 18 parlay, but it might be one that we have to put in there. Miami versus the New York Mets, John. To me, this is another one that goes into the parlay. The Mets shouldn't win this game handily. They got an enormous pitching advantage with Rich Hill. Miami is not the best team against left-handed hitting. I know the Mets can't score runs, but Miami can't score runs either. So the Mets win this game 1 or 2-0. And I think, again, you have one of the biggest run differentials in the entire Major League schedule tonight. So I'm adding the Mets to a 3-team parlay that I'm working on, and maybe we can put one together as far as the 18 challenge.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, they're playing Edward Cabrera here. Hopefully they score more than 2 runs. But Rich Hill is decidedly the better pitcher, and the Mets should win this game. Yes,
and they're collecting 83 cents on the dollar in that game, Sean. Next game on this docket is Tampa Bay versus Houston. So far in this series, Tampa Bay just looks like the better team, Sean.
Yeah, and I think they are the better team. Here, though, and you get plus what's the line here?
The line for the Tampa Bay is plus 136 is the maximum.
Yeah, that's way too much. So I will take Tampa Bay here. I like the pitching matchup. I like the team. I think they match up well with Houston.
So what do you think? Giuliano wants to know, what do you think about the Red Sox, the O's, Cubs, Pirates, and Dodgers -1.5? Well, we mentioned that we do like the Red Sox already. I think that the San Diego squad is probably about as demoralized as his team can get after last night, right?
Yeah.
And then as far as the Reds and the Pirates and the Cubs, the Pirates have the money line advantage. The Pirates have they have the run line advantage. They have the home field advantage over the Cubs. But it looks to me like the Cubs have the pitching advantage, so it's really a game I'd probably stay away from. Because I think it really could go any way. Red Sox over and the Cubs over. Sean, you're the guy that likes to play totals.
Yeah, I'd be concerned about the Cubs Pirates, especially 3-2 yesterday, and the pitching's better tonight than it was yesterday. The Red Sox, again, 10. The Red Sox have been struggling offensively, and how many runs are the Orioles didn't get against Pavetta? I'd be concerned about 10's too big.
You think 10's too big in that game? Unless Baltimore. I think Baltimore will have to do all the lifting on that.
You mean Boston?
Boston, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, too many B's for an old man. Come on, dude.
That's what I'm saying. And
Boston's holding to these ridiculous standards.
Like you said yesterday, it was 1-0 for 6 innings, so their offense is struggling. So it's not like Baltimore had a great pitcher going yesterday, neither. So I'd be concerned about the 10.
Yeah, I would be a little concerned. I think the Cubs game is more likely to go over because at some point both bullpens come in, and when they do, the scoreboard tends to light up. Yesterday being the exception. They can't have 2 good days in a row. The Tampa Bay and Houston, did you make it official that you're going to take one of those 2 sides or not?
Yeah, I'll take Tampa Bay.
You're going to take Tampa Bay, all right. And that number again on Tampa Bay is +136 is the best number I can get you, Sean. The betting public is on Tampa Bay too. I mean, I just watching these games play out, and you think like Houston's going to show up, and they don't. So it looks to me like Tampa Bay is clearly the better team. Maybe sending a message to them, hey, look, when we meet up in the playoffs, don't even think about banging those garbage can lids because look at what we do when you guys play straight up.
Yeah.
Philadelphia versus Atlanta. The way I wanted to take Atlanta, this game means a lot for Atlanta. But this pitching matchup, I know you mentioned that Gibson probably hasn't pitched as well as the Phillies would have liked since they acquired him. But he is considerably higher in terms of advanced metrics than Ian Anderson. I know Ian Anderson is one of the best prospects that the Braves had and a good, young, strong starting pitcher. But I don't like when the pitching matchup is that lopsided in favor of one over the other, which the Phillies seem to have tonight.
Yeah, see, I mean, if that's what the numbers say, I would prefer Ian Anderson in this spot over Gibson. And the Braves are going to clinch it tonight. I mean, they're going to be motivated to clinch it. The Phillies have been wanting to pack their bags for 2 weeks. They can pack them tonight. I am taking Atlanta here and making it official.
You're taking Atlanta and making it official. So Juliana wants to know one more. Twins, Indians, Giants, Dodgers, all money line. Boy, the Twins are just on fire down the stretch for sure. And I think they'll beat Detroit again. The Indians tonight against Kansas City, Shane Bieber, I know that he's got the pitching advantage. But that team just really struggles to find – they just – I tell my son all the time, good teams find a way to win and bad teams find a way to lose, right? Mm-hmm. During the season, they were an average team, Cleveland, right? They're a little bit around 500, so they're average. But lately, they've had the traits of a bad team. They get it and they lose. They're finding ways to lose. So they're starting to resemble a bad team as they come down the stretch for me. So I'd be leery of the Cleveland Guardians. The Giants tonight, that's another one because Kazmir is coming. And he hasn't pitched. It's only his second start. And I don't think he's going to have a lot of innings in him tonight. Maybe 3 or 4 max. Then it goes to the bullpen. And then, of course, you got Madison Baumgarten, who's had kind of a resurgent year. Maybe struggling a little bit of late. But San Francisco's got to win, right? Though I think they have to continue to win. I would be inclined to take the Giants because of the motivation factor, but I think Baumgartner is going to be equally as motivated.
Yeah, of course, going up against San Fran again. I think he's pitched a couple times against them, at least once this year, and I think he did pretty good too. So, it does scare me with the pitching matchup on that one.
As far as the Dodgers are concerned, they're not going to blow a 5-0 lead, Sean, are they?
No, they shouldn't.
I don't think they will either. Detroit and Minnesota. Speaking of which, Sean, the Twins. They're on a roll right now. I got them started with picking against them when they were playing my Cubs. And since then, they have definitely been on fire. So I think the Twins win this game, probably win the game handily, but I am not interested in playing the Twins at minus 180. I'm not interested in betting against them because of all the damage that they've done to me this last couple of weeks. So I'm going to pass, and I'll leave it up to you to decide. I think the Twins might be one of those teams you can throw into that parlay. Yeah. Although I have to say that the money is only backing them at about 53 to 47 cents on the dollar. So the smart money is backing the Tigers here a little bit.
So I think they are, they are really hot. You got Joe Ryan. The only concern is this Tyreek Skibble's a left-handed pitching, and they do struggle against left-handed pitching. Now, how much of that was from the beginning of the year with different players? Probably a lot. So I say we keep Minnesota off to the side, and we run out of teams. They definitely are one to add in there.
Well, right now we're only at, I think, 2.
Three. We're at Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah, and the Mets, right? Cincinnati, Boston, and the New York Mets. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Next game on the calendar, we talked a little bit about it already, is Cleveland versus Kansas City. The tickets are really heavily backing Bieber, and I understand why. But I think afterwards, like I mentioned before, the people who back them might be thinking, I'm sorry, and I hate that song. But the Royals are the ones taking in the money, about 60 cents on the dollar, Sean. This is a game, again, I would maybe lean towards Kansas City. I think Kansas City is the right bet tonight because, A, Cleveland's only okay against left-handed pitchers. B, like I said, they're finding ways to lose games as of late. C, Kansas City has the power ranking advantage and the run line advantage, and they just seem to be better than Cleveland is right now. So you can catch a plus line on what is on paper the better team.
Yeah, and Kansas City seems to be having fun here at the end of the year, and Cleveland's another one of those teams I wouldn't bet at all the rest of the year because they're just ready for it to end. So
no, they end on Sunday, so it'll be here soon enough.
Yeah, I'm not making a pick either way. I understand why people want to take Cleveland because of Shane Bieber, but we've done that before with the starting pitching, and that only lasts so long. So I'm going to.
But what if Bieber leaves the game at 0-0 or 1-1 or 2-1 or something like that?
Right.
Then what? Yeah. And then because they've had leads in every one of these games against Kansas City, and it subsequently gave them up, including 3-0 a couple nights ago. I know that. I felt that one.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how much teams play for this, but Salvador Perez has had a great year and it's in competition for the MVP. So, that kind of
he can't be the MVP on Kansas City.
Well, what?
Don't even talk silly.
Every MVP candidate, AL and NL, they have none of them are going to the playoffs. It's crazy.
I just can't see how that is you can't be the MVP if your team sucks.
I know. I saw the list, but too. These guys have had great years, and I guess nobody's really stood out on the playoff teams, really, I guess.
I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I think some guys have maybe stood out, but just not enough. I mean, to me, I think Trey Turner is a guy that probably should be up on that list. It's on the Dodgers. They're one of the better teams. I mean, to me, you got to take somebody from the Giants. Crawford has played very well, right, all year long. Maybe you could put Chris Bryant in that conversation that he played with the Giants all year. But how can you not take, what's his name, Brandon Crawford, right, from San Francisco?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that guy has been the heart and soul of that team all year, and they're the best team in baseball. How do you overlook that?
Well, because they're a great team together. They're just not individually,
But something makes the engine go, right? There's gas. There's an engine. And without gas, the gas doesn't work. All right. So anything that you like in that spot, Sean?
No, I'm going to pass.
All right. So Arizona and San Francisco. San Francisco needs to win. I suspect they're probably going to win, Sean. I think Kazmir will pitch well. Arizona has not performed well against lefties. San Francisco is obviously the better team. Do you want to put San Francisco in that 18 parlay challenge, or are you a little bit concerned?
I'm a little bit concerned, but we're going to run out of picks. So
we're almost out of picks. There's only one game left. I mean, we're only 3 out of 8.
Yeah, so I feel like San Fran's got to be put in there then. And the only other way. The only other way you could do it, and you hate totals, is to do the under and say Bumgarner's going to have a good game. Yeah, just go with San Fran.
I agree with you. And the money agrees with us, too. 75% of the money is on the Giants and only 2/3 of the tickets. So the smart money is actually backing San Francisco. We've already said that the Dodgers are a must-add. They got such a pitching advantage tonight. So you got the Dodgers and the added to that. So that makes it 5, Sean. in the 8-team parlay challenge. So we have so far Cincinnati Bengals money line. We have Boston money line, the New York Mets money line. We have the San Francisco Giants money line and the LA Dodgers money line. So if my math is right, that's 5. Now for me, just a quick heads up here, Sean. Hold on one second. I'm going to go ahead and do a parlay myself, a 4-team parlay. I'm going to do Boston. I'm going to do the New York Mets. I'm going to do the LA Dodgers, and I'm going to do the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to put all 3 of those teams together for a 20 spot at all 4. Sorry, that's great math on my part, right? Like Joe Biden. I have a 3-letter word for you. J-O-B. No, 4-letter word. 3-letter word. Yes. 3-letter word. J-O-B-S. Look it up. But anyway, I did the same thing just now. So those 4 teams together add up to a plus 304.
Good odds.
Yeah, I like those odds. But one of them is going to, I'm going to feel the flame on one for sure. The question is, can they douse the flame before it kills the ticket?
Yeah. So now we're stuck in. We got to figure out 3 more teams. Now we put Minnesota on the side. So if you're good with Minnesota, we can add Minnesota in.
Yeah, you add Minnesota in because if I add them in, they're going to.
All right. Well, then I'm adding Minnesota in. So we're up to 6.
You want to put the under in the college football game in there, or you don't feel good about that?
I think you convinced me a little bit. So we'll go with it.
All right. So that's number 7, Sean. 1 more to go.
Oh. Well, what
funny. All right. So I don't think I could pick a winner in the game between Miami and Virginia, right? That's a tough one. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I kind of think Miami might win, but then I'm afraid of the spread, so it's going to be way too close to call and put in a parlay.
So when you look at the money, what the so-called smart bettors are doing, the one game. Well, we missed a game, right? Did we miss the game? Oh, is that tomorrow? Yeah, that's tomorrow. I was going to say we missed the Angels and the Rangers, but let's talk about. Do you feel confident in your Braves clinching tonight?
Yes, that. If you're good with that, I'm good with that. I think they're motivated to win at home, win the division, celebrate, get that behind them, and the Phillies are ready to go home.
All right, so let's take a look at what we got here. So I'm going to put them all in there. So under, and then on the Major League Baseball. So we have Boston, we have the Mets, we have the Dodgers, we have the under in the football game, in the college football game. In the NFL, we're taking the money line with Cincinnati.
Yep.
And then that's 5. And then back to Major League Baseball, the 3 teams that we don't have, we're taking the Braves.
Yep.
We're taking the Twins. You're taking the Twins. I'm staying far away from them. And then San Francisco Giants. So that makes 8, right? 18 parlay.
Yep.
Yes. 18 parlay. That totals out to plus $2,746. So for every $10 you bet on that, you will get back $284.68, provided one of them or 2 of them don't flame your ticket.
Okay, and we had limited games to work with tonight too. So, but I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I feel about that too. You see, Katie lied. He says he's got one more. Okay, I lied. Plus 360, the Braves, the Dodgers, and the Red Sox. Well, Sean likes the Braves. I like the Dodgers. I like the Red Sox as well. So, I mean, that's all 3 of those teams are in this 18 parlay. So I guess I have to give it a thumbs up, although I do worry a little bit about the Braves. So that's the one that scares me.
No, don't worry about the Braves because the Phillies are done. They're just done. So I like that. Plus 360. I'm going to do that on my own too.
He says this Breeze wants to know Boston versus the Baltimore over. We kind of went down that one, Breeze, and we feel like that if it's going to go over, that Boston's going to have to do all the lifting. So if you feel like they can probably account for 8 runs, Sean, maybe 7 runs?
Yeah, at least 7.
Then yeah. So Giuliano wants to know if the Braves, the Dodgers, and the Red Sox, would you take any one of those out and replace it with something else?
No, I would go there.
That's where Sean's going.
I mean, if you want to add something, add the Bengals.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah. Maybe that's only going to give you a boost, and I do feel like minus a Joe Burrow injury, the Bengals should win that game tonight.
Yeah,
or maybe I should put it this way: Jacksonville will lose that game. Which way do you think it's probably going to be? It's probably a combination.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the Bengals have played good so far this year, and they're up-and-coming team. And the worry was how good would Joe Burrow look, and he's looked great this year. So
no, he's phenomenal. There's no question about it. I was watching a show one time when they're, one of those things when they're talking about like what you're looking for in a quarterback and all that kind of good stuff. And I'm going to make this comparison first. I don't know that I've heard anybody else make this comparison. Joe Burrow is the 2021, 2022. He is the current version of Joe Montana. Doesn't have the biggest arm. He can move around the pocket, but the one thing he is incredibly accurate and very cool under pressure. That is Joe Montana. If you haven't had a chance to see him play like us old guys have, then you would probably recognize that. But anyway, I was watching a show where they're talking about, football and quarterbacks and what you need in a quarterback and all that kind of good stuff. And then they said, able to understand and read what the defense is doing is what they rated number one. Number two, they rated was the ability to have a big arm, right? Strong arm. Mm-hmm. And number three was accuracy. And I disagree with that. To me, I think in pro football, if you look at the best quarterback, Tom Brady, knows what he sees. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but he is the most accurate. So he's able to make a quick decision. He's able to put the ball where it needs to be. So for me, the order is the ability to understand what you're seeing and accuracy are 1 and 1A. But to me, if you're accurate and you make a mistake, you can still put the ball out of harm's way, right?
Right.
So I would put accuracy over the ability to understand what a defense is doing, and then a strong arm last. So the league is littered with guys with strong arms that throw the ball all over the place.
Well, I mean, Mahomes' case, man. I mean, that strong arm and just God-given talent is absolutely incredible. So I will say there was one, and I'm a big Mahomes fan. I love watching him play. On Sunday, he did a no-look pass when he didn't have to do it. The guy was wide open. I didn't understand it. So sometimes these guys get carried away with that stuff. Just because they can do it, they do it.
That's the age, man. Everything is about a clip on Twitter, a clip on Sports Center. It's like the Twitter age where you got everything in 150 characters or less, right?
Yeah.
Just a quick boom, there it is and gone. Ooh, look, that was cool. All right, Sean, that wraps up for today. You're going to be gone tomorrow, right? And so we won't be back until Monday, but next week we have some big things in store, which we'll talk about as the week unfolds. We will be putting our picks up over on Moneyline Madmen for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So make sure you head over there to that. Of course, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Where, Sean?
Moneyline Madmen.
Fantastic. Anything else before you get up and out of here and misbehave?
I'm not misbehaving tonight. I'm on the show with you later today. So not misbehaving tonight. That's all tomorrow.
All right. Yeah. Speaking of a show tonight, over on our sponsor, Horse Racing Radar and Guaranteed Tip Sheet, we have our Thursday night podcast for horse racing with TVG's analyst, Todd Schrupp. We'll be talking about opening weekend at Santa Anita, where there are some really big races. We'll make some picks. We'll have a little bit of fun with Todd. He seems like an easygoing guy. Put up a nice question and answer. He seems to have a lot to say. So you can head on over there and read that. And it's a pretty interesting read about growing up as a father, son of a military dad, and things weren't as tight as you might expect at home. And from that, he turned into on TV at TVG. All right, Sean, that wraps up today. Hold on, one last comment here. He says, thanks, guys, and you're welcome, Sean.
Okay.
All right. You're right. You're welcome, Sean. All right. As always, folks, we hope that all of your tickets are winners, and we'll see you on Monday. Until then, everybody behave, because Sean will misbehave for all of us. Have a great night.